Hey guys, here we are for episode number 4, the Dreaming of Disney podcast. I'm Tim. I'm with my beautiful wife, Audrey Ann.
Hello.
And yeah, we're back. We're still going. We're still doing this thing. Turning into a Friday night tradition.
Yeah.
So, last time we talked about all of our tips and tricks and hacks and whatchamacallits going to Disneyland. So, hope you found those useful. If not, you're starting with this one. Well, go back and listen to that one.
Well, this one will help.
This one will help too.
Yeah, this will help too because we are going to talk about Genie Plus.
Genie Plus. Good old Genie Plus.
Although, first, did you want to go with your
That's right. My
segment?
my segment Disney. What did I even call it? I don't remember.
Disney News or
Disney
something?
News.
I don't know.
I
I think this might phase out.
Things. That's just something. Maybe it's just when we have something good to share.
Oh, this isn't good.
It's not. Well, it's not good. Well, I'm sure it's good.
It's
you mean
not.
like it's bad? I don't mean like good, like it's good, like happy good, but like good, like interesting, like big breaking news or viral. Or, well, you have something prepared, so why don't we just
Well,
talk
I don't
about
really have anything prepared, honestly. It'll take me 2 seconds to
all
talk
right,
about
well,
this.
let's you found something that you wanted to talk about, so let's talk about it.
Well, I just found something. I didn't know if you knew about it and if you already had something you wanted to talk about. And so I thought, I wonder if he knows about this.
I don't have something to talk about. I dropped the ball this week because I just did.
Okay. Well, it's not that. I just saw an article that said that Shanghai Disney is closed due to COVID
Oh yeah, I did see that.
indefinitely. They don't know when they're opening back up.
Yeah.
That's it. I just, and it said it doesn't affect anything, in the United States. It'll just be interesting to see after the initial closure of all the parks and being closed for over a year, or at least Disneyland was closed for over a year. I don't think Disney World was closed for even a year.
Disneyland,
They
Disney
opened.
World was they opened first.
I don't even think they were closed a full year.
No, they weren't.
But it would be interesting to see, how long they stay closed this second time around.
Yeah,
So-
from what I've read, that it's not so much Disney's decision, but it was China, the
Right.
government's decision to shut it down.
Right.
Because they have a very strict zero COVID
Yeah.
policy over there, so Disney was forced to shut that down.
Yeah.
Going along with overseas Disney headlines, I saw something. I guess I probably should have clicked the article to actually read it, but I'm just going off the headline.
Okay.
And I saw this on Facebook, so we all know, if you see it on Facebook, it must be true.
and you didn't even read it?
No. So, but
This is like the worst.
I don't know, Tokyo Disneyland, which is in Japan,
Right.
has never made a profit.
Okay.
And that, I don't.
You
I don't
defer-
even want to.
you
I don't
didn't
even want to. I don't even want to say the number that I'm thinking because I don't even remember if that was the number on there.
Now I'm going to have to
So,
look it up.
yeah. So now I need to do a quick Google search here to
Yeah.
see what I'm talking about. Disneyland Tokyo never made profit. Let's see what old Google says. I don't know.
Did you say, oh no?
I was completely wrong. Since the park opened in 1983, I didn't know it was that old. Tokyo Disneyland Resort has regularly been one of the most profitable Disney resorts. So
Oh
I don't
my
know what I'm
gosh.
talking about. Just
Yeah.
ignore everything I just said.
You
I am telling lies.
you brought up a headline that you didn't read on Facebook.
This is how misinformation spreads, folks.
Yeah, good job.
I just contributed to the problem.
Well, I'm glad that you at least fixed it.
Yeah, so don't listen to what I say, at least about that. So,
but the Shanghai Disney thing, that's true. I actually read a news article that it is closed indefinitely. So we'll see how long it stays closed. Okay, so moving on to...
credible information.
Wow. Oh, credible. I thought you said incredible. Genie Plus. So Genie Plus is the new system that enables you to go in a shorter line.
Replaces Fast Pass.
It replaces the Fast Pass. If you've never been to Disneyland and you don't know what Fast Pass is, Fast Pass is basically just you get to go in a shorter lane that has a shorter wait time. Used to be free. You would just go, and there were kiosks outside of the rides that offered this. Put in your paper ticket. It spits out a little paper ticket.
Another paper ticket.
With a return time on it. You have an hour window. And so it tells you what time to return. And you get to go in a shorter lane. Then they added the Max Pass, which you had to pay for per person. And basically that just enabled you to do it on your phone, not have to be at the ride in person.
Yeah.
So if you were, in Fantasyland and you want to get a Fast Pass for Splash Mountain, you don't have to walk all the way over there. You can get it on your phone, and do it digitally. They still offered the free version of the Fast Pass where you went to the ride to get your ticket, but you could pay for this upgrade. Now they have gotten rid of all of that and done Genie Plus. So now the new quicker line is called Lightning Lane. And you have to pay for it.
Yeah.
There is no more free option of a quicker line. You don't have to get it. You can always do a standby line.
And they do have their free version, which is mainly just like they call it a tip board, where it shows you like if you want to go on this ride, you put in what you want to do, and it'll say if you want to do this ride, the best time to go on this ride is like at 8 p.m. because the lines are shorter. The average wait time's lower.
So you get some suggestions. You get suggestions for free. You do not get a quicker line for free.
Yeah.
If you listened to last week, you know I'm not a fan of this. It makes me very angry.
And
it's expensive for something that's already extremely expensive, and there's a lot to it that just makes me mad. And
well, why don't we start off with the price? So
the price is in Disneyland. Mm-hmm. It's different in Disney World. I should say also, we have only used this service in Disney World. Mm-hmm. We have not yet been to Disneyland with it because it just started, in January?
Yes. Yeah.
And we have not yet been to Disneyland this year, just Disney World. So in Disneyland, it is $20 per person.
Per day.
Per day. Which, if you're on your own, like if you're going with a group of friends and everyone pays $20, that's not that bad. But for us, a family of 6, well, I'll say 5 because Georgia doesn't have a ticket yet. So 3 and up. That's a lot of money. That's another $100 a day. So we go 3 days. That's $300.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
Yeah, Disney World, it's $15 a day. which I find a little odd that it's different for each park. You'd think it would just be like, this is what it is. So you can purchase this when you buy your tickets. You can choose this as an add-on. And I guess per day again. I don't know if you're buying like a 2-day park hopper, if it's just for 2 days, or if it's as the add-on, if it's a 2-day add-on, or if you can choose, hey, I only want to do it for Disneyland, not when I go to California.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that one.
But yeah, I know you can add it in. And you don't get any like discount by doing that. It's
you can't
convenience.
So I don't know why this is. When you purchase your ticket, you can choose it as an add-on. If you do not choose it as an add-on, the day you buy your ticket, you cannot purchase it until the day you are in the park. Mm-hmm. So, and that includes every day. So if you're going for 3 days, the first day you go, you can buy it for that day. Second day, you can buy it for that day. You can't purchase it for the whole trip like the day before you go, if you don't add it on with your original purchase of your ticket.
And you have to buy it after you scan into the park.
Okay, that was my question because I knew you knew. Because Disney World, 7 a.m., if you are staying on property, so in one of the Disneyland Resort hotels, 7 a.m., you can purchase Genie Plus. Which I think is better. Disneyland, you can't purchase it until you scan into the park.
No, I take that back. You can purchase it that day starting at midnight. So
oh right, you could purchase it at midnight in Disney World. You couldn't choose your selections.
You can't pick your selections until 7 a.m. at Disney World. At Disneyland, you can't make your first selection until you scan into the park.
Okay, so you can purchase it at midnight the day you are going. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you make your selections for Genie Plus digitally on your phone. They do have a tip board. You can favorite certain rides so that they will come up first on your list. So I don't know how much in Disneyland ones sell out. Maybe like Guardians or Incredicoaster. Probably
Rise.
So you want to get that early. You can only... to clarify, just the lane that you go in is called Lightning Lane. Either way. But just to differentiate between the two, I am going to be saying Genie Plus for the rides that you can go in the Lightning Lane that you can get when you purchase Genie Plus. There is also individual Lightning Lanes. These are not rides. So confusing and ridiculous. I feel like I feel like an idiot saying these things because you're like, why is this so complicated? In Disneyland, there are 2 rides that are individual Lightning Lanes. You cannot get in the Lightning Lane with these with regular Genie Plus. You have to purchase them separately. So on top of the $20 you pay for Genie Plus, then if you want to ride Disneyland, there's only one. If you want to ride Rise of the Resistance, which most people do, you have to purchase that separately. If you want to, not if you want to ride it. If you want to go in the Lightning Lane.
Yes.
You have to purchase that separately. It is not included in Genie Plus.
It's an a la carte.
A la carte. So for Disneyland, there is 1 ride that is a la carte. In California, there are 2 that are a la carte. So, you can purchase the a la carte rides without getting Genie Plus. Mm-hmm. You do not have to buy Genie Plus to get Lightning Lane for Rise of the Resistance. So, as an example, when we went to Disney World, I'll say what our plan was. Mm-hmm. There are not that many rides in Animal Kingdom. Mm-hmm. So, our plan was, we're not going to buy Genie Plus because there's not that many rides. But Flight of Passage was an a la carte individual Lightning Lane. So we're just going to get that. So we didn't need to spend the $15 per person to get Genie Plus. We could just get individual Lightning Lane for Flight of Passage. So you don't have to get Genie Plus to get individual Lightning Lane. Again, they are the same lane.
Yeah.
But you cannot just get Genie Plus and then choose Rise of the Resistance. You have to purchase that separately.
Yeah.
Individual Lightning Lanes range in price, depending on how busy the park is that day, from $7 to $20.
Yeah.
I saw someone on Instagram that they were there, and that day it was $20 to ride Rise of the Resistance. No, I'm
From
sorry.
what I've
I'm sorry.
seen-
It was $20 to get in the Lightning Lane for Rise of the Resistance.
purchase
You
the
can
Lightning
do
Lane.
standby
Yeah.
anytime you want.
You're looking at waiting at least 2 hours. Anywhere from hour and a half to 2 hours. At
My suggestion would be, if you don't buy the individual Lightning Lane for the rides that offer it, to try to rope drop it. So as soon as the park opens and they let you in that land, go to that ride immediately, which everyone else will be doing. But that is your best chance of the standby line not being so long.
Yeah.
Also, I should say, in Disneyland, the individual Lightning Lane is Rise of the Resistance. In California Adventure, individual Lightning Lane, there are 2 rides. Racers,
Yep.
my favorite, and Web Slingers. So, those are individual Lightning Lane. You have to purchase them separately from Genie Plus. Now, I thought this was interesting. Disneyland gives the list, well, they both do, but the list for Disneyland's Genie Plus that have Lightning Lane, Peter Pan is not on it. I could have sworn that when we were there last, they were making a Lightning Lane for it. And they do have it in Disney World. There is a Lightning Lane for
I remember
Peter Pan.
right
It's not on the
before
list.
they announced that Peter Pan had Max Pass. Peter Pan.
I'm looking at Disneyland's website, babe. Autopia has it. Autopia, Big Thunder, Astro Blasters, Haunted Mansion, Indiana Jones, Small World, Matterhorn, Smuggler's Run, Roger Rabbit's Cartoon Spin, which is closed right now, Space Mountain, Splash Mountain, Star Tours. I know. I really thought that Peter Pan was one of them, but it is not. And then California, Goofy Sky School, Grizzly River Run, Guardians, Incredicoaster, Monsters Inc.
Interesting.
I'm like, I don't think we've ever waited more than like 10 minutes for that ride.
Maybe 15.
Maybe 15. Soarin' and Toy Story Mania. So it doesn't have, well, no, that one never had. So yeah, so those are just the Genie Plus Lightning Lanes. If you purchase Genie Plus, those are all the rides that you can choose for Lightning Lane. So once you scan in the park, you can make your first Genie Plus selection. So you choose on your phone, on the app, it will tell you your return time. It shows the return time, but you don't get to choose. It doesn't give you options. Like, let's say you get in and you're going on Indiana Jones. It's not like you're like, oh, look, here's 9 o'clock return time, or here's an 11 o'clock return time. I can choose. Like, if it's a busy ride, your best bet is to take the first option you get. You can wait and see if there's something later, but you can only have one selection at a time. You cannot choose your next selection until either you check into the ride that is your current selection, so say Indiana Jones. Once you scan your phone and get in line, then you can make another Genie Plus selection, say for Splash Mountain. If you choose, say it's 9 o'clock a.m., you get on there, your first Genie Plus selection return time isn't until 1 o'clock in the afternoon, you can then make another one in 2 hours. So it's either as soon as you check into your ride, whichever comes first, check into the ride, or every 2 hours.
Yeah.
Complicated? Yes. Yes, it is. Ridiculous?
Very complicated.
Yes. Yes, it is. Now, individual lightning lanes that you purchase separately, you can choose your time.
Actually.
What?
Only at Disney World.
Are you?
Only at Disney World can you pick your times for individual lightning lanes.
There are very few times, very, very few, that I prefer Disney World.
At Disneyland, talking about lines too much. Disneyland, it's first available, just like Genie Plus for individual.
Gosh,
so you don't get to pick which time at Disneyland.
See, that makes me mad because here's something that you end up doing a lot of with Genie Plus. You end up darting all over the park because you're taking what you can get. So you get in and say you made your, which here's a suggestion if you get Genie Plus, to before you get into the park, on the tip board, on the app, select the rides you really, really want to do. So they pop up first. I do think that this is more crucial in Disney World because it's busier. But still a nice little suggestion for Disneyland. So you get in and you see that, what's a big one? Space Mountain has a return time like right now. So you're like, oh, awesome. Yeah, let's get on this. Check into Space Mountain and you checked in. So now you can choose your next one. So you're looking at the rides and the next return time is right after Space Mountain is Splash Mountain. So then you're darting all the way over.
Yeah.
Because you kind of want to. There's two different strategies. There is churning, which is where you are choosing the quickest return time so that you can then choose another one. So churning is where you are choosing whatever ride has the quickest return time, the earliest return time, because that way, as soon as you check in, you can get another selection. So you can just churn them, get in the lightning lane for, whatever's quickest. But that could mean that you are going all over the park.
Yeah. And may also mean you may be doing rides that you may not want to do right then.
Right, but you just want to get one so that you can get another one.
Yeah.
Or you can stack. So stacking is where your next return time might be later in the day. It might be it's in the morning. You pick one that's not until 2. Then, so park opens 8. You pick one at 2. 10 o'clock, you can make your next selection. You select one for
3.
You can't pick, then you are just doing other stuff. You're doing shows, you're doing smaller rides, you're doing standby lines. Then I want to give a different example because this can happen too.
Okay, go for it.
So 8 a.m., park opens, you get Space Mountain. Return time is not until 5 p.m. So you cannot make another selection until 10 a.m. 10 a.m. comes, you get Splash Mountain for noon. Because it can be earlier than that first selection.
That's true.
So 10 a.m., you get Splash for noon. But then that's 2 hours from 10, so you can't get another one until you check into Splash Mountain. You check into Splash Mountain, you get Small World for 1. So you're doing other lightning lanes before your original one that you pick because it's later in the day. So what ends up happening when your first selection isn't until later in the day is you tend to stack them more for later in the day. So the first part of your day might be a little slower. You do some standby lines, some smaller rides that aren't that long, shows, whatever. But then later in that day, in the late afternoon, you're probably doing ride after ride after ride.
Yeah.
Which they can. We had them, the times overlap a bit. It can be a little stressful. But like I said, you have that hour window. And also, if you're late, they still honor it. I don't know how late. We were pretty late to Remy. We were like 20 minutes late.
Yeah, I forget why we were so late. Was it? Oh, what?
Well, it was two things. It was test track.
Oh, yeah.
Took way longer than expected, and then you were in your
It was on my scooter.
you were in
my
your
jazzy.
scooter, so
my jazzy.
it took us a lot longer to get down.
That's true.
There.
They do let you check in about 5 minutes early.
Yeah. So you can check in about 5 minutes early, but they took us late, and then we were late to a couple other ones too, and it was fine. I don't know how late, but we weren't like hours late. We were 15 minutes. So yeah, so those are kind of the two like strategies to use. We liked churning them because it felt like we got more done.
Yeah.
I don't know. Again, we haven't used this in Disneyland yet. Disney World, like, ones would sell out. So, like, that's another thing I don't like. You are on your phone more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, you are.
You're on your phone more because you're trying to get these selections. It makes it, which is just the reason I didn't like the whole virtual queue with Rise of the Resistance at the beginning either. Like, you were so stressed out.
Yeah.
Because you were like, we're not going to get on this system. You wanted to ride this ride so bad. And at the time when we went, it was, this was back in 2019. 2020.
Yeah, no.
Was it the 2019 or 2020? Right before COVID?
It was 2020.
So it was right before COVID.
Yeah.
We went in February of 2020. And, and everyone is just like, one, it made park entrance at park opening, I should say, insane, because people who usually don't come until later in the park or later in the day, because you had to be in the park to get the virtual queue.
Yeah.
So like the line to get in was insane. I've never seen it like that. And then everyone just stops on Main Street.
Yeah.
And the only thing I liked about it is when the park opened and everyone in the whole park is getting their selections, you hear people cheering all through the park, like no matter where we were. So that was kind of fun. There was like this camaraderie, and people would be like, hey, what did you get? What group did you get? Like, it's total strangers. So that made it kind of fun. But we didn't just go into the park and like look at the castle and just walk like we normally did. We stopped and stood on our phone and refresh until we get, like, I hated it. I hate that.
I know.
And this is similar. At least the panic of not getting, which it might be better in Disneyland because we go all the time. Disney World, there was that little bit of panic because I don't know if we'll ever go again. Mm-hmm. And it was like, oh, and they have rides that we don't have here that we really wanted to get on. Like, I remember I was so stressed the morning of Animal Kingdom because our son Noah loves animals. Lions are his favorite animal. And I was so worried that we weren't going to get a good slot for the safari, and then the animals would all be like sleeping and not out. And I just hate feeling like that. And like, oh, it's going to, the times are going to fill up. Or for like Slinky Dog Dash or Mine Train, it was like sometimes they sell out. And then, yes, we could do the standby. But seriously, for those two rides, for like Slinky Dog and Mine Train, standby was, I think the lowest I ever saw Mine Train was 90 minutes.
Yeah.
And the lowest I ever saw Slinky Dog was maybe 75. But that was like, oh my gosh, it's only 75.
Only 75.
So you can, but there's a lot to do. So it's like you do want to get the lightning lanes, like you just do. And coming from being used to free fast passes, and we had that down. If you listen to last week, like with our fast passes and then our rider switch, like we were always just getting on rides and waiting 5 to 10 minutes, and like we had it down. So I don't know what it's like in Disneyland as far as like rides selling out, or even like for example with Slinky Dog Dash in Disney World, you can make a selection if you're staying on property at 7 a.m. So you're on at 7 a.m. You select it. It showed like a 9 a.m. return time. By the time it went through, our return time was 6 p.m.
Yeah. That's on the bigger rides that it could shift like that real quick.
Like while your little rainbow wheel is going.
Checking out,
Yeah, like, So I don't know how it is at Disneyland as far as like Space Mountain. It might not be. You might be able to be a little more lax because it's not as busy.
But you did find a
I
correction.
found a correction. So at Disneyland, it says how to purchase. So before your visit, Genie Plus service is available as an add-on to a ticket or vacation package. Purchase via Disneyland.com or authorized travel professional. Same day visit, you'll be able to purchase it upon entering a theme park on the day of your visit via the Disneyland app. Not at midnight.
Not midnight. That's a Disney World only
So
thing.
people that purchase it with their tickets have an advantage there.
Yeah.
Because once you get into the park, if you already have purchased it, then you can just make your selection right away. If you haven't, you have to take the time to get on your app, purchase it, and it sounds so ridiculous. You're like, well, that doesn't take that long. But
There's glitches. Sometimes,
there's glitches.
Yeah.
Sometimes even a minute can mean that your return time is now at 9 p.m.
Yeah.
So then you can't make a selection for 2 hours. Again, I feel like Disneyland, it won't be as big of a deal because it's like, well, go get on Small World right now because it's short, or Dumbo because it's short. You know, Rope Drop Peter Pan, Rope Drop Jungle Cruise. There's where Disney World, everything. Winnie the Pooh would be 90 minutes. I have never seen it more than 20 at Disneyland.
That's like on an extremely busy day.
That's like a summertime, yeah. Like,
Yeah.
And I'm sure, maybe listening, and you go more than me, and you've seen it more. But I go at least twice a year. I have never waited more than 10 minutes for Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah.
And it was always well over an hour
Yeah.
in Disney World. So there was that, like, okay, we can't make a Genie Plus selection for another 2 hours. What in the heck do we do? Because every line is over 2 hours.
Yeah.
Or I shouldn't say over 2 hours, over an hour. Where Disneyland, I feel like you can easily fill that time. Another thing that you need to keep in mind, something that makes me so mad.
I was just going to bring this up.
You're paying extra. You're paying extra. You can only choose these rides. Sorry, I'm choking.
She's so mad that
I'm
she's
so mad
choking
I'm
on her spit.
You can only get a Genie Plus selection for any of the rides that offer the Lightning Lane, one per day. So you get Genie Plus for Indiana Jones, and you go through the Lightning Lane at 9 a.m., and later in the day you've been churning them, and you're like, oh, hey, look, Indiana Jones, it's like return time's in 20 minutes. You can't do it. You can only do it once a day. You can go in the standby line, but you can only go in the Lightning Lane once a day for each ride.
And
that makes me furious.
And for the individual lightning lanes, you can only get 2 of those a day.
You can.
So so there's 3 rides that have that.
Oh, if you're park hopping.
You can only do 2 of those in one day.
Right. So if you are park hopping and you do.
It's a bigger issue in Disney World because there's more of those.
There's only 2 per park.
But I mean, if you were gonna park, which is hard to park hop.
It's hard to park hop. We did it on a slow day where we had already done each park.
Yeah.
But I don't think park hopping is as common there as it is in Disneyland because it's so easy in Disneyland.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you individually purchased Rise in the morning, you could not then purchase Web Slingers and Racers. You would have to choose one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
But Web Slingers has single rider now. So.
Yeah. So that's cool.
So did you get that? Because I didn't, because it's ridiculously complicated. I felt so bad that when we were in Disney World, we were on the bus on the way in one day, and I just heard these women talking, and they're on their phones, and they're like, okay, yeah, we got, Genie Plus for whatever it was, like Mine Train. Oh, but it's not till 6. And they didn't know that they could get another selection in 2 hours. They thought they had to wait till 6 p.m.
Oh, wow.
to get another Genie Plus. Because the way it's worded on the website, I just read it to you before we started, and it's just...
You should read it. Read it.
Oh, where did I have it? No, I can't remember. Okay. Is this it? Once you've redeemed your initial... No, it was eligible. There was an eligible. Where was it? Go. We'll see what this says. Once you've redeemed your initial selection or the arrival window has passed, you can use the Disney Genie service tip board or My Day itinerary to see when you're eligible to make another selection. This wasn't the confusing one, though.
No, that wasn't
You can make selections one at a time, all day up to regular park closing, subject to availability and limited to one Lightning Lane selection per attraction per day. I'm trying to find where that was. Oh, here. This is it. You'll be eligible to make your next selection after your currently selected arrival window has either started or been redeemed. You're also eligible to make another selection if you're currently holding on to a selection that has an arrival window that's more than 2 hours from the time the selection was made. Which, if you, like, it makes sense.
If you read it line by line, and really, it's like...
Okay, wait, what? So I can do it when? What?
There's lots of selections and eligibility and... Yeah.
So it would be very easy to think that, oh, I can't. And the app does say... So you can look on the app in your, like, My Day or My Tip Board or whatever, and it will tell you what time you're able to make your next selection. But, yeah. It's complicated. It's expensive. You choose.
But,
I
you
will
know,
say
it's like,
we used it.
My viewpoint, yeah, it's a pain in the butt. It's a lot of money. But it saves you a lot of time if you use it right.
Right.
I mean, I think if you have it down and you know the intricacies of it, it's much more intricate in Disney World than it is in Disneyland because it ties to the whole, you know, your magic bands and your hotel reservation. And if your party's not all filled out correctly, then it messes up on your Genie Plus and your Lightning Lane selections. It was just, there are so many times that we had to go to cast member to correct it. But once you have it down and you know how it works, you know how to use it, I say it's worth it. You know, I think if you know how to use it correctly, and you have a family like ours that has a baby, and so you want to make use of the time and be able to get as much out of it as you can, I say it's worth the money not having to wait in these long lines. I think it also depends on the time of year that you go. If you go during the summer, definitely, because you're going to be waiting a lot. The lines are going to be a lot longer. It's going to be busier. If you go on off-peak, maybe you can get by with not getting it. Because I know with MaxPass, when we go on off-peak time, usually around February,
Don't tell people. Then they'll go and it won't be slow anymore.
It's never really slow anymore. We didn't have to buy MaxPass because the lines weren't that long.
Yeah, and you still could, but you still could get Fast Pass for free. You just had to walk to the ride. Yeah. So it's not like we didn't use the Fast Pass lane. We did. We would just be like, we don't need to buy it. We can just walk over there. Yeah. I'm not saying it's not. What makes me mad is
you're getting less for paying more. For something that, well, you're getting less.
You're not getting less.
Well, yeah,
you're getting what you used to get for free, and now you have to pay for it.
Well, we got more for free before with FastPass because you could do the rides multiple times.
Oh, that's true. You could get FastPass more than once.
And with MaxPass, not only with MaxPass, you could still only do it once a day. You couldn't do it more than once on MaxPass.
Really?
I don't think so. But you also got all your pictures, all your, the ride pictures, all the pictures the photographers would take, it would get loaded on. That was included with MaxPass.
Which this gets loaded on, but it has the
they
the
have
watermark on it.
Yeah, you have to purchase those separately.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it's I'm not saying it's not worth it. Like, but there should still be a free option. Because what? So families that saved enough, just enough to get there and not to purchase this, like, they don't get to do as much because they can't afford it.
Yeah.
So, like, maybe have, you know, maybe per party, or either like make it cheaper, make it per party. I don't know, you know, if you separate it, then you can't really do per party. Or make like, okay, still have the individual lightning lane where if you want to get on lightning lane for these very popular rides, you have to pay a little extra. But Genie Plus is free.
Yeah.
Because people would do that too.
Yeah.
It's like, or cut out the individual lightning lane and just have all of the rides available on Genie Plus. The fact that they charge you now for Genie Plus, and then on top of that, so like we purchased Genie Plus and we want to ride Rise, that's an extra $200 we're spending that day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, that's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, like, does it save you time? Yes, it can save you hours. I said it in the last episode, but I heard on a podcast in Disney World, his entire trip, his family of 4, I think they were there, like, as long as we were there. I think they were there like 5 or 6 days. It saved them a total of like 18 hours.
I believe it.
Like, so that's like 2 full park days. So
Yeah.
they got a lot more done. So you will get more done. That's not the point. I am morally against it, and it makes me angry. I think there was a way to do it that wasn't so outrageously expensive and complicated.
Yeah.
Because it didn't used to be that complicated.
No, it didn't.
And we bought it. Like, we bought Max Pass. I wasn't crazy about it. It wasn't as expensive. You got more. But then there was still the free version. Like, why change that? You're making money because a lot of people bought Max Pass.
Mm-hmm.
But then you left the free option for people too. And yes, sometimes the Fast Pass lane, now less people are in the Fast Pass lane, the Lightning lane.
The argument was that FastPass was making lines longer. And so that was part of the reasons why they reimagined.
See, I don't understand how that made lines longer. So this,
because
less
more people got fast passes because it was free.
So this will make
causing
standby longer.
So that's the thing, is that fast passes made the standby lines way longer than what they are now.
Because so many people were in the Fast Pass lane that they had to let go before the standby people.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so by limiting it, by having to pay for it, and also limiting how many that they give out, it makes the lightning lanes smaller, which then makes those lines go faster, and also the standby lines go faster as well.
Which I'll have to give an update on how we feel about it after we go to Disneyland. Because Disney World, we were not used to the line, so I can't speak to that because everything seemed really long, but maybe it wasn't. For Disney World.
Because when we went last August,
they didn't have anything.
It was all standby, and the lines were manageable.
They weren't at full capacity yet.
No, but still.
Yeah, I don't remember waiting very long for anything.
Mm-mm. I liked the virtual queue. I know a lot of people didn't like it. I liked it. I had it down to where.
That was just for Rise, right?
Rise and Web Slingers.
Okay. Which Web Slingers, we've only done that once. So.
Yeah. But I liked it. I know a lot of people didn't. They had some things to say about it. But I thought it was a good way of doing it. it's kind of a lottery system, so there's a chance that you may not get it. And so if you don't go as often, and that's the one ride that you wanted to go on.
That's right. That's what I didn't like about it, is there was no standby. I remember saying that. I'm like, also have a standby. Like if they want to do this and they get, in faster, but also have a standby, because you get in there and your phone is glitching or whatever, and then you don't get it. You don't get to ride that ride. What if you come once every 5 years? Yeah, that's right. I did not like that about the virtual queue. That's not fair.
So, anyways.
Yeah. So, that's Genie Plus. If you can budget for it, I will say it will save you a lot of time. You will definitely get more done. Maybe if you're going multiple days and you want to try it one day and the other day you want to take it a little slower and do standby, it's not like you can't get on these rides. Except, no, you can. No, I'm sorry. You can still get on the rides. All of the rides you can do standby. This is just to save time.
Yep.
That's what it is.
Yep. And they're adding experiences to this too. So, like, you can get a Genie Plus for like a meet and greet with a princess. Or Disney World's doing it for parades.
What?
So that way they have a reserved viewing area, much like World of Color. How you got a fast pass for World of Color and
but you
designated.
Didn't have to pay for it.
No, I know, but I see that as something, because they never had fast passes for parades or fireworks or whatever.
Yeah.
But what this allows you to do, if you're willing to pay for it, you now have a reserved place to sit.
I just hope they don't take all the good, it's like all the front rows along the curb.
No, it's like where you see like benches where they block off the benches and stuff. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. They have these,
which they already have that is reserved for people that pay.
But those are for like the VIP tours and stuff like that. So those are people paying thousands of dollars for that stuff. Which I was like, if you're paying that much, heck yeah, you better get reserved seating.
Give me like a lounge chair.
I know. You remember when we did that dessert?
That was cool.
The dessert lounge.
Mm-hmm.
They don't do it anymore. Tomorrowland Terrace. That's what it's called. Mm. It was the up above Star Wars launch bay in Tomorrowland. They had it was a special thing that a dessert package that you would buy, and you would be on the second level, and they had like unlimited drinks, hot chocolate. They had desserts.
They had games up there, and blankets.
And they had characters that would come up.
We didn't see any characters.
They didn't have any characters our time, but it was advertised that they would have characters.
We did it for our anniversary.
Yeah. And then you would have a reserved place, and so you're looking towards the castle, so you see
the side. You couldn't see the castle.
You saw the side of the castle.
No, we couldn't see the castle, really.
No, it was Matterhorn.
We could see Matterhorn.
So this was when they first doing the Mickey's Mix Magic.
Yeah, it wasn't the best sight. That's what I was kind of like. It was cool.
Yeah.
It wasn't like the best view for the fireworks at all.
No.
It's a neat experience, but you could get way better views of the fireworks, on Main Street.
Yeah, but I mean, what you're paying for is like the desserts and the free drinks and all that.
Yeah.
Well, not really free because you're paying unlimited drinks.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that was fun.
That was fun. But
yeah.
So this is a good primer for when we talk about our Disney World trip.
Yes. So we're gonna post one of those next week, and we talk a lot about we got Genie Plus for that, or we did Lightning Lane for that. So we wanted to explain the new Genie Plus system before we go into those episodes. I was more open. I have a harder time, thinking about paying him for Disneyland since we go often. Disney World, it was like, we might never do this again. We might never take all of our kids to Disney World again. So I wanted to get the most out of our trip.
Mm-hmm.
And we purchased individual Lightning Lanes for rides that are not, we did not get it for Rise. Because we have that in California, but
and been on it multiple times.
Yeah, but for Remy's and Frozen Ever After, for
Flight of Passage,
Mine Train, we don't have those here, and I really wanted us to get to experience rides that we haven't yet.
Navi River Run.
Oh my gosh, that was not an individual Lightning Lane, but we did get a Genie Plus for it. But we had already purchased Genie Plus for that day.
Yeah.
So, like, it's not like you're paying... If you've purchased Genie Plus for the day, you know, you're not paying individually for Navi River Run. And...
Is that what it's called? Navi? It's not called Navi River Run, is it? It's
Oh,
Navi
wait, no,
River.
I'm sorry. Navi River Journey.
Navi River Journey. I'm thinking Grizzly River Run.
Grizzly River Run. That's what
Two very different rides.
Navi
Both on rivers.
Navi River
Two
Journey.
very different
Oh my gosh.
levels of intensity.
We kept waiting for the ride to start, and then it was over. But we'll get into that on our Animal Kingdom Day. So that was confusing.
Yeah, did you
And
get that?
I'm sorry, because it is confusing, and it felt like I was skipping around a lot because it's kind of hard not to when you're talking about this because it's a lot. It's complicated, and you do have a better idea once you are in the park and you're using it. You get the hang of it. But going into it, it's like, what in the world? Like, this is so complicated. Oh my gosh.
Just imagine you're on Navi River Run. I'm just gonna call it that from now on.
It would be way better if it was like Grizzly River Run, but the Navis. Because I was like, this is beautiful. Like, wow, this is really pretty.
And then you go down a waterfall.
I wish.
That would be cool.
I kept waiting for a drop.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be like, at least like...
Like
oh
Pirates.
My gosh, that's going to be stuck in my head now. I thought it was going to be at least like Pirates where you have a little drop and then you go down to the story. If it was like Grizzly River Run, but as pretty as it was, that'd be great.
That'd be pretty cool.
But
we'll have to talk more about Navi River Run.
I don't know. What is there more to say? There's nothing more to say about it. Anyways, so sorry if that was...
I was going to this,
boring.
like when I was talking to you about before we started recording, it's like, let's try to keep this one short because it's the last one was over almost an hour. Like, let's try to keep this one to 30 minutes. We're now over 30 minutes.
But we also we tell a lot of stories.
We do.
So we could cut that out. But
that's why people listen. They listen for the stories, for the banter.
That's why you,
all 17 of you.
But yeah, so I'm sorry if this was super boring, but if you want to go, it's good information to have. If you have any questions, follow us on Instagram, and you can message me and ask me, and I can try, or you can go to the website too. Like I know what I'm talking about.
But sometimes the website doesn't help.
The website, the way it words, it can be confusing, and we've used it. So so on Instagram we are dreaming.of.disney.podcast. So follow us on Instagram, and you can message me if you're going. You have any questions, and I will do my best to help you if it's something I know. And if it's not, I will tell you. I am not proud. But yeah, we have used it. Again, we haven't used it in Disneyland, but we're going in a little over a month. We probably won't use it. Well, I don't know. I don't know if we'll use it when we go, because it's just us. When we go later with all the kids, I'm sure we'll use it.
Well, we'll see.
We'll see what we do. I don't know. It'll be cheaper when it's just me and you.
Yeah. We might be able to do, because, I like Rise of Resistance. We wouldn't be able to do that together.
Do they have we have Gigi.
They don't have single rider for that.
Yeah. I'd be fine if you just wrote it.
Okay.
It's amazing.
I'm not going to wait 3 hours, though.
We could try to rope drop it.
Yeah.
Or you can purchase it.
We'll for me, I just dropped the $20.
Oh, my gosh.
If I could skip the line,
you're not eating lunch that
I
day.
am the target audience for Genie Plus.
Then I am.
Because I have
just do it.
Because I'll just do it. I'd be like, save time. Yep.
Okay, well then I'm packing you. I'm packing you a lunch that day. Then. You think I'm kidding?
She's not, folks. She's not.
Yeah, you can ride Rise, and I'll pack you a turkey sandwich.
Okay.
I'll pack you a hoagie school lunch. All right.
Just remember to use the spicy mustard, please.
Oh my god. Make your own lunch.
All right. I think we're gonna call it. So next week we start our journey to Disney World, to Orlando, Florida.
Which we already recorded. It was actually the first podcast we recorded because we had just got back. We were like all hyped up and we're like, let's start a podcast. And we recorded it.
It's a little rough.
So we need to edit. It was a lot.
Yeah.
And it was long. So we'll need to edit that down quite a bit because there's probably a lot that we don't need to include, like
that's true.
Our flight.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you later.